The timing came out horribly. So now let's see how the audio is doing. How is the audio? I see we have 2 people here, and I'm just about to flip this here, and we're going to see a lot of Greek shield isopods, Porcellio werneri. Let's see. Is it working? Does everybody hear the sound? I know not a lot of people are here yet, so I'm hoping you all hear the sound. Zero Cool. Hey, what's up? It's good to have you here. Vance hears me. Item 13. Excellent. Let's get a little bit of a close-up here. There's Papa's Gems. Okay, we got people in here and you can hear me. Good to hear it. Look at that. On the left, you can see some mate guarding behavior. There's a male. Has mounted a female there. Let's see. So Joseph Tavir, is that how we say it? I know that I've seen you in Kyle's streams, the Roach Crossing, Roach Wiggle, and I think I've heard him say it that way, and you said it was correct. So I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see. We have Kearns 28. These are indeed wide boys. Jason Davis. Welcome, Jason. And excellent. Glad to hear that you saw me on Clint's videos and started watching. Which video did you see? I've been in quite a few of Clint's videos. We've worked together on a lot of projects, so I'm curious which one it is. Okay, 503. Great to have you here, as always. I saw your Instagram post about your Lethoceras. That's awesome that you got one. There. Okay, so it is Joseph Tavir. Okay. Cool. Young lad is here. Did I say hi to Papa's Gems already? I hope so. Oh, look, there's one that's a little bit damaged. It's missing part of its skirt. That's weird. So today, I wanted to start by answering a couple of questions from Patreon, and then we're going to dive into this enclosure here, and we're going to do a little bit of maintenance in the enclosure, and then we'll do the same with some other isopods. Oh, just out of the corner of my eye, on the left here, one of my snakes. Just watching it eat here. Oh, sorry. Got distracted by one of my garter snakes. Okay, let's see. So Jason says, the majority of them, I binged all of Clint's with the top 16 isopods with the big one that got me interested. Cool. Just established my first isopod colony, watched all your isopod care guides. Fantastic. Which species did you start with? Oh, and congrats on getting your tail with whip scorpion to eat. Heather, that's awesome. Okay, so now we've got some Patreon questions. One's from Sarah. Sarah Lacrone says, can you keep millipedes and isopods together? I have giant chocolate millipedes and a few types of isopods. Thanks. Hope you're feeling much better. Well, thank you, Sarah. And this is kind of complicated and a little bit controversial because sometimes you can keep millipedes and isopods together. You can end up dealing with the out competition issue, and you can also deal with some other issues. One of them being that when millipedes molt, they're a little bit more vulnerable to isopods. Well, a lot more vulnerable to isopods, especially if there's a mismolt. And if you have a minor mismolt that's not enough to hurt the millipede a lot, and it will, be able to get over that and correct the issue with subsequent molts, it can end up dying because the mismolt can attract the isopods and eat it. They can eat it. But that said, some people have a lot of success with millipedes and isopods together. I've experimented with a little bit. I put some rubber duckies in with my Spirostreptus species 1 to see what would happen. I didn't have great success with it. I didn't have big problems with the millipedes, but the rubber duckies just sort of gradually petered out, so that was interesting. But I know that some combinations work pretty well. There's just that issue, and when you want to breed them, I think it was Bugs in Cyberspace who said this, if you really want to breed them, you should probably keep them separately because it might not be ideal for either of them, something like that. And I agree. I think that's fair. But there are occasions where it can work. Sorry, that's not a very definitive answer, but hopefully at least you understand the rationale behind my non-definitive answer. And Droth is also hoping I'm feeling better, and I am. Thank you to both you and Sarah for those well wishes. I am doing better. Droth says, I'd like to do some hardscaping with limestone, cork bark, etc. in my isopod tank, but I'm worried about which adhesives are safe for the isopods. Is anything marked aquarium safe okay? Thanks. That's kind of been the assumption I've worked with. And aquarium safe silicone I have used with isopods without an issue. I'm trying to think if there's any other. I've used some of the like Gorilla Glue kind of stuff. Once it dries completely, I'm not concerned about it with isopods. I've done that kind of thing. So yeah, I would say that if it's a marked aquarium safe, you should be safe. Just wait till it outgasses completely and cures completely, of course. But once you've done that, you should be good to go. So great questions from Patreon today. All right, now I'm going to look back at the chat, see what I need to catch up on a little bit here, if I can. See, we've got 25 people in chat, 12 likes. If you want to start a like spike right now, that would be fantastic. Let's see who's come into the chat since I started looking here. Okay, Jason Davis responding to my question about Candy Crush. Mixture of powder blue and powder orange. Cool. And they're going to be for bioactive enclosures once they start breeding. Shouldn't be long. Hunter Triplet. I just got my first tailless whipped scorpion. Do you feed yours crickets? Yeah, that is the primary food I offer them. When they were very young, I've offered them other foods, but crickets is basically what I give. Banded crickets is what I use these days. Welcome, Theropod Hunter. And you're welcome, Jason. That's awesome. So yeah, their white skirts are fantastic. They're did we lose the audio? Idea. How's this? How's the audio? Are we back? I'm playing with audio, trying to get it to come back. How are we doing? How are we doing with the audio, folks? Yeah, I made a mistake with the stream. Okay, good. I made a mistake with the stream, and the mistake I made was that YouTube does some weird stuff sometimes when you set up streams, and it somehow made it going to be starting tomorrow at midnight. So I wasn't super excited about that when I realized that that's when I had accidentally set the stream for. Oh, here, I want to show you this. Who can be the first person to tell me what that is? if I can focus on it. Maybe zoom in. It's too, I don't know. It's not focusing because it's too pale, I guess. That's what's going on. But anybody can tell me what this is. Just curious if you know what that little flat white object is. Good guess, Laura, but it's not plastic. Also a good guess, Kevin, but it's not a fish scale. Got some good guesses, but nobody's nailed it yet. Native American pottery shard, oyster shell, cuttlebone. Vance got it. It's a piece of cuttlebone. I put a nice thick piece in there, and they just emptied it, flattened it out. They will nibble and nibble until they get down to the hard shell. On one side of the cuttlebone is typically much harder than the other side, and that's what they just did. They nibbled it all the way down. And that hasn't even been in there all that long. I believe I put another fresh piece in there, but if I haven't, I'm going to do it soon as part of this process. As I replace the substrate here. What I'm replacing it with now is I removed, close to half, maybe pretty close to half of the substrate. I am replacing it with organic compost mixed with some vermiculite. This was a tip that I am trying out that helps to keep the substrate from caking too much. It was one from Smugbug when she was being interviewed by Josh from Isobuddies. And that sounded pretty cool to me, so I'm going to give it a shot. Why not? They still have plenty of their original substrate in there. I'm going to add some more leaf litter, and I'm going to add another piece of cuttlebone because they really munched that one, and I don't really see one in there right now. Just have to dig around for a second to figure out where I put the cuttlebone when I was cleaning up in here the other day. There it is. So I put a piece in probably comparable to this. You see how thick this piece is. And they totally munched a couple of pieces actually. There's another piece that's just flat as a pancake. And most isopods will eat cuttlebone. You can get along just fine without giving them cuttlebone as long as they get enough dietary calcium from other sources. But it seems like adding a nice chunk of cuttlebone and letting them eat through it is a good idea, because if they aren't getting quite enough calcium, then they will get enough. How's my pickled leaf concoction going? Oh yeah, I actually have a new batch of this, of the pickled leaf here. I still don't have any like conclusive results. These are the two I got out of that substrate. I'm going to dump them out now. That was easy. You have to hold on to the plaster of Paris because it can fall out pretty easily, but I just held on to it, shook it. I did put a little water on this plaster of Paris before I used it as the holding container so that they wouldn't dry out while we're doing that. It's kind of nice. Okay, so let's take a look at the leaf concoction, shall we? I'm gonna put some in here with these guys. I think that would be a good idea. Just a little bit. But I'm gonna show you the leaf concoction. This is I have some sugar, I have some molasses in here a little bit with the water, and this was started about 2 months ago. And it seems to be working. Ooh, it smells interesting. That's usually a good sign. Smells like some fermentation's been going on in there. So I'm gonna grab a chunk of it and drop it here over by the moist side. A couple chunks, really. I don't want to put too much in here because these guys like their dry area, like I said, but putting this chunk over by the moist side should be fine. You can see the leaf litter appears to be decaying, but it's hard to say still. So I'm not putting this out here as a definitive results yet, but I do have had mostly positive results in most of the enclosures I put it in. Some of the enclosures have had a little bit of mold on the leaves, but nothing too excessive. And it seems to be accelerating the decomposition process, and it does seem to be good food for the isopods. So, seems to be working, but preliminary results only. Nothing definitive that I can put out there and say this is how you do it and this is what works and so on yet. But I am interested in how it's going. All right. So Meredith, blue death fanny beetle is coming in. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna pull out some other isopods. I'm gonna put these back and pull out these here. Let's zoom in on these, huh? Some orange crush. Okay. So let me tell you what's going on here. I have had these for a while. These came from Ashley Neville some time ago, and they appear to be doing really well. They've been breeding and everything steadily, looking good. I'm happy with how they're doing, but they've been in this smaller bin, and I don't think that's great. So I'm just going to move them to a larger bin as we chat here, and we can talk about other things, of course, too, not just about these, but it'll be kind of some fun background, because we do, because they are pretty cool isopods. Okay, so Laura, I tell you, safety zorb for terrariums. Oh, the oil dry stuff, it's like calcined clay, right? That's so you can see there's basically no leaf litter in here, and I have put leaf litter in here recently, but they've been eating it so fast that there's none visible now, which is a sign that I need to upgrade a little bit and get a whole bunch of leaf litter in here. And I'll put a whole bunch of that pickled leaf litter in here because it seems to be working fairly well. So the moss is still in good shape, so I'm just going to transport that over. And then I'll transport about half the substrate, so we'll get some microbial population going, and I'll leave the other half of the substrate with the fresh stuff. I can see that not all of this is frass yet, which is a good sign. When it's all frass, it's probably well overdue for a change. I still feel like this was overdue for a change, to be honest, but this is not horrible. I've seen worse. When the top is just a solid layer of frass, you know, well, could have done a better job on that. And that has happened to me, I admit. So, gonna put their shell dish over to the new one. And on the dry end, gonna add some pickled leaf litter in the intermediate area between the wet and the dry end. I really like how you call it pickled leaf litter, Heather. I think that's great. I don't remember if I've ever called it that or not, but whether I have or not, I like it. So thank you for using the term, and let's go with it. There are always bins that I need to refresh, and there are always bins that I'm refreshing, and that's why maybe you've noticed that in live streams lately I have been taking to doing some refreshment, some bin refreshment during some of the live streams, because I realize it's one of the best places to do it, because we get to chat isopods, we get to watch isopods. It relaxes me. I enjoy it. A lot of people enjoy watching it happen, and then we end up talking about a lot of information relating to isopods. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So here we go. I'm going to back up a little bit so you can kind of see a little bit more of the bin. I'm going to put this cork bark down, this other piece of cork bark down, a smaller piece, maybe right there, and then I'll start scooting them over. You know, I have never really heard mine hiss. So Heather's asking about the isopod frass as a plant fertilizer. Yeah, basically after I after I redo one of these bins, I typically just freeze the substrate for 3 days, and then I will go dump it in a place where it can benefit plants. And it seems to work pretty well. Good stuff. I have plenty of plant beds and garden space and stuff I can put it. So Aqua Garden Zen, how often and what should you refresh? When should you refresh the bin? It depends on a lot of factors. Like a mature bin, of course, with more isopods is going to need to be refreshed more often. Species that have a bigger appetite are going to need to be refreshed more often. And there are different schools of thought of that. And it also depends whether they're heavy substrate feeders, what you're feeding them, how often you're feeding them, how often you refresh with the leaf litter cover, because it's quite possible with many isopod species, and I don't recommend this for all, like I wouldn't recommend this for Hilaria brevicornis, for example, but for many isopod species, probably most in the hobby, you can technically get along pretty well, and this is, I sometimes rely on this maybe a little bit too much. You just put a fresh layer of leaf litter in over the top of the substrate, and the isopods will eat that, and it's good for them, you know, especially if it's nicely decayed leaf litter, mixed leaf litter. It's nutritious, and they will do really well on that for a while. And you can, Orrin McMonagle talks about it in his book Isopod Zoology, where you can just do it until the substrate gets too deep for you to keep adding stuff, basically. So with many isopod species, it's possible to do. I'm kind of amazed that these Armadillo officinalis were breeding so well in that small bin without much leaf litter anymore. There's a lot of little babies in there, doing really pretty well. But I think we're starting to, well, no, there's still plenty in there, but I'm not seeing quite as many as I was a minute ago. I'm still fishing them out, though. Let's see what this says. Let's see. So interesting that some of you are talking about different species hissing. I wonder if there's some cryptic species going on, or there are different vocalities that hiss less or more, or something like that. Like, who was just saying? So Meredith was saying the Armadillo officinalis from Greece never make a noise. Oh, there's Emily Wilson's here. Excellent. And let's see. Sean, you do hear an aquarium in the background bubbling, probably more than one. There are three aquatic aquariums in here, like aquariums that are actually being used for aquatic life, that are large, enough to merit the term aquarium, I guess. There's some other things going on too, but my aquatic insect aquarium, populated largely with critters from bugs in cyberspace, is in here, and I also have a tank full of way too many endlers, blue star endlers. So if anybody's interested in blue star endlers, let me know, because I got so many of them. They're the Campoma, not the Silverados. And they are beautiful, but I always feel bad about feeding them to the snakes. Sometimes I do feed them to the snakes, but I don't feel great about it for various reasons. And so there's always too many. I have them in kind of an aquaponic setup where I've got pothos and Tradescantia and different plants growing out of the back of the tank. And so the water quality, that helps reduce, nitrates and different things in the water that shouldn't be there. I also do water changes, of course, but helps keep the water quality up, but it also makes it so the fish breed like ridiculously crazy. So I always have a few hundred of those, it seems like. So let's see. Still going through here. Let's see. Theropod hunter. Are paulownia trees illegal to grow in Utah? I'm not sure. I'm not. That sounds kind of familiar to me, but I don't quite remember what those trees are. So maybe you can help refresh my memory, and that might help me know whether or not they're legal. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, I have some of the wild type Armadillo officinalis too, but they don't seem to stay rolled up for nearly as long as some of them, which I like. Okay. Let's see. So Meredith, okay, let me know when you get a tank going. And oh, Kevin, I need to talk about Ruby a bit. Yes, Ruby definitely looks super gravid. So she's in blue right now. Didn't want to eat, which is funny because she's been eating like a pig. But because she's in blue, I'm guessing. Sometimes when she's in blue, she'll eat. Sometimes she doesn't. We all know how that goes if we keep snakes. But she is super fat. She feels gravid. And those of you who have kept snakes that get gravid, you know how that feels. They feel like jelly. They feel very squishy. Not that you want to squeeze too hard or anything, but they feel squishy. And she's very, very chubby. She's got scale spread already. I'm not sure exactly when she got pregnant. I think it's been possibly a month or so that she's been pregnant. So so Emily, you want some of the endlers? Okay, cool. We'll chat. Send me a message and we'll get things set up. I will get you some of the Blue Star endlers. They're not too expensive. I sell them at a reasonable price, and there's shipping and whatnot. But I can probably hook you up with some endlers that are a pretty decent price. These are, as far as I know, non-hybrids. I don't have like documentation of them being like pure, but at the same time there's no reason to suspect they aren't pure. I haven't mixed them with anything. So they all look just like the pure Campoma Blue Star endlers. And so that's what I'm assuming they are. Let's see. Ooh. You should get some endlers for your classroom tank. They're fun. So Polonia are Empress trees, huh? Very cool. Emily's breeding bristle noses. Oh, I've done that. I love bristle noses. I have several. I'm not breeding them at the moment. I do have 2 males and 2 females together, but I don't have a cave with them, and they're in with goldfish, so you know what that does. They seem to be getting along really well with the goldfish. I know that can be controversial, but they've been doing well like that for a long time. So Emily, also breeding Neocaridina. You can do that with endlers too. You can actually breed all 3 together in the same tank if you have the parameters right and everything. So Kevin Santiago, these are indeed, oh, that's a big one. This is a monster. Check this out. Look how big this one is. These are indeed the Armadillo officinalis Orange Crush, and I just put some new substrate in. I'm not sure of exactly the depth, but I think it's about 1.5 inches-ish. See, look how fast they wake up. Some don't. Some of the locality, like Josh from IsoBuddies has one that'll just stay shut up forever in the daytime and not come out. But these seem to be fine. So I'm now down to the point where I'm really not seeing any more in there. So maybe we can go ahead and I'll save this for a little while and see if I can get anything else out of it, because that's always a good idea, because you inevitably missed some if you don't pay attention, you don't let it go for a little while. See, I just found one. So I'm not going to dump this substrate right now, because that wouldn't be fair to the little ones. I'm not going to freeze it, I should say, because I freeze it before I dump it. But I'm not going to do either yet. Let's see. All right, putting it down. Okay, let's see what we got here. Where's my lid? Where did I don't know where I put my lid to this. Maybe I don't have one. Just a second. Ah, here's the lid. Okay, I haven't labeled that, so I'm not going to put it away yet. But we're going to take a look over here. What do we got? Oh yeah, this is a... You can't tell. Plenty of leaf litter in this, but I think some of the substrate needs to be changed. Sean, I am probably keeping you from grading. It's probably pretty hard to grade and listen to the show at the same time. We've got some Cubaris Murina papaya here going on. And there is a need to change the substrate in here. It's been too long. So I want to get that going. Get rid of some of this substrate. There's so many in here. And like I said, this is one where I've been dumping extra leaf litter in because you can extend the life of the substrate basically by relying on fresh leaf litter to some degree. You can't do it forever, but you can do it for a fairly long time. So that's what I have done for a while, but it's now about time to switch out some of this substrate. I have a question for y'all too, now that we're getting going on these. I don't know if you can even see what's going on. I feel like you can't. It's kind of hard to see. So I'll try to move things around a little bit and we'll move on to something else. But so Phleodes diabolicus. I have one. I used to have a pair and they would mate and everything, and then I lost my male. The male was considerably smaller than the female, and it was easy to tell what was going on. Mating was very obvious. So I knew I had a male and a female. But then the male passed away after a while. I've had the female. I had the male and female for quite a long time. I've had the female for years. Came from bugs in cyberspace. I would actually get a kick out of breeding that species at some point, but I have not done that. It's possible that they produce some larvae, I don't know, but there's a bunch of larvae in the tank right now from various species, I expect. There's a lot of activity in terms of larvae going on in there lately. I've pulled a couple out just to look at them and see what they are. No blue death veined beetles in the last batch I looked at. You can tell because they have a very rounded terminal segment and it's very hairy. Very rounded terminal, hairy terminal segment. So it's very kind of characteristic of Asbolus, at least Asbolus verrucosus. I'm not sure about Asbolus laevis because I'm not sure what I have there in terms of Asbolus laevis. But anyway, lots of larvae, but no... in the ones that I looked at, and I didn't go through the whole tank and check, I didn't see any blue death veiners. I just grabbed a few of them out because there are a bunch of them in there. Their piece of cuttlebone is still pretty fresh, still looking okay. They love these lotus pods, as you can see. The Cubaris Marina papaya. There's enough leaf litter in there. I'm kind of out of my other leaf litter that I was using. See, that one looks pretty pink right there. The older ones seem to look pinker. Really like that. It's kind of fun. Look at that face. Very Cubaris face there, huh? Ooh, that didn't feel great. I'd rather not repeat that experience. Whacking my head on my shelf here. I'm going to put some of the leaf pickles, pickled leaf litter in there. I think they will enjoy that. More than that, obviously, that's just what I happen to grab because the jar is getting closer to, it's getting lower. Okay, sorry, just checking on the chat because I lost a bunch of it. Let's see. Ooh, I have never heard of that millipede, Theropod Hunter. It would be cool to see. I would love to see it, though. Oh, there's Richard. Richard's here. Welcome, Richard, as always. Oh, cool. Looks like Tarantula Collective is now an isoporter. It's one of the. It's a membership. It's he's joined the membership. That's cool. I think that's the first time I've ever seen somebody join a membership directly on the stream. So that's fantastic. Thanks, Richard. That's awesome. And see the little isopod icon that Richard has, everybody? Kind of fun, huh? It's small, admittedly, but you can see it there if you look. It's pretty cool. Thought that would be fun to set up. I gotta say, I think I've said it before to you both, but I think it's hilarious the dynamic you and Tarantula Cat have, Richard. It's hilarious. I think we talked about it when I interviewed her. I think is when it was. But okay, so they've got a whole bunch of fresh leaf litter now, the pickled stuff. They've got Cuttlebone already there. I think they're good to go. Oh, Kevin Santiago joined too. That's awesome. 2 with 1 go. Love it. Thank you, everybody, for joining up. Richard and Kevin. That is fantastic. I am going to show you something, if I can make it work. I'm going to try. Just 1 second. I know it's exciting, scintillating looking at that table there. So let me bring you something that's a little more scintillating. Hopefully. Sorry, I'm just going to have to scoot it out of the way a little bit. Since we've been talking about millipedes during this stream quite a bit, I thought I'd look at the Spirostreptus species 1. This is the enclosure in which I tried to keep rubber duckies. And I've noticed the substrate's a little bit dry. It's not horrible in here, but needs a little bit more water. You never want to overdo moisture with millipedes, but you don't want to underdo it either. And this is the moist side that I use, so let's see. Oh, Tarantula Collective just gave a a sticker. That's awesome. Thanks, Richard. I've never had the honor of getting a poop emoji sticker, but I will take it. That's fantastic. So Theropod Hunter is saying for 70K celebrations you could have Ruby as a makeshift plushie. That would be pretty cool. I wonder if they would do that. They might. That would be fun. I think it would be fun to have a snake plushie. Oh, gotta fix the light. Running out of time, so I fixed it though. Okay. So yeah, 70K is not too far away, folks. We're getting there. Let's see. Charus. Have you ever thought of keeping Legia exotica? They look awesome, but can't find many success stories. I think Oren McMonagle was able to keep and breed either that species or a similar species. And he talks about it in Isopod Zoology. I haven't kept that species. I've thought about it, but I haven't done it. Tarantula Cat is great, like having a bratty little sister. That's awesome. So Marimba Girl. Oh, congrats with the that you got the dairy cows. They're going to be probably breeding for you like crazy. And they do get pretty big. They're a pretty robust isopod. I really like them. So, and we're up to 33 likes now, 39 people in here. And a pod plushie would be really cool too. I like that idea as well. Oh, I see what you're saying there, Tarantula Collective. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it better. Best $1 I've ever spent. That's fantastic. Oh, Charu's joined in as well. Fantastic. Welcome. Look at that. 3 members in one episode of the live stream. That's fantastic. Yeah, which species of isopod would we make a plushie out of though? Which species would it be? I think a zebra would be good. I think Gestroy would be good. Clowns would be good. Of course, rubber ducky. Everybody would love that. You know what would be really cool though? Expansis. Porcelia expansis. Red Ember Bee, hard to beat that. Good suggestion. Excellent suggestion. And Millersaur, they really are great millipedes. I like them. And they're a species I've worked with a lot. Um, but apparently keeping rubber duckies with them didn't work all that great for me. But it's a good thing I don't have only one rubber ducky colony, huh? Because that would have really been horrible. Okay, well, excuse me. I forgot what I was gonna say, but oh, Kern's 28 joining in too. Excellent. Look at this. We've got this going now. We've got some momentum. So Richard, you started a trend, and that is fantastic. So I appreciate that. And Kern's is keeping the streak, keeping the stream going. Yes, Richard, I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to have to use my tripod to do that. This is a 16-quart bin, so it's big enough that I'm going to have to back up quite a bit. But I'm happy to do it. Let's see. Okay, well, it's not perfect, but I think you can pretty much see all of the bin now. This is like I said, 16-quart. You can see the ventilation pretty well. Not excessive. It's the same way over here on this side. A few holes right here. Kind of just fewer holes over here on this side. And yeah, I have this big old piece of cork bark in there. They really like to climb on it. The rubber duckies like to hang out on it. Got plenty of chunks of this rotting wood and things like that in there. I replaced the substrate not too long ago, probably about time to do it again. But yeah, that's not horrible. It's not like all frass or anything yet. In some spots, I think in other spots it's more frassy. But yeah, hopefully that satisfies your curiosity about the enclosure. But I'm happy to answer any other questions about it. Oh, there's a perfect question, Richard. I'm happy for you to pick my brain out alive. This is how it works. The substrate. I personally like it when you say it that way. So just for the record, I'm going to go with it. The substrate is about on the between 3 and 4 inches, maybe 3 and 4 inches. Could be a little longer. I could be a little deeper, and that wouldn't hurt anything. I'll probably add some more really soon. Anyway, make it a little deeper. Technically, for millipedes this long, you want it deeper, so I should probably add a little bit more. And 503, I know what you mean. And you were talking about that on Josh's stream too. And I'm kind of to that point too, where I am not getting a ton of new isopods. I am getting a few, but it's like I have to be calculated about it. Like I recently got Porcelionides virgatus because I can ship those. So it makes sense for me to get those because I can ship them. I'm trying not to get so many of the types that I can't ship. Well, I see what you're saying, 503. It's hard when you watch Richard's videos to not want tarantulas more and more and more. Oh, speaking of tarantulas, should we take a peek at mine? I think that would be fun. See how hopefully she is doing. I think it's a she now. It's been long enough. The tarantula was hatched and exited the egg case, whatever, in 2020. I guess it was 2022, October of 2022, and seems to be a female. From what I can tell, I don't see palpable bulbs or anything. I don't have a nice fresh molt because the last time she molted, she ruined the part I needed. I don't know. She's webbed up her enclosure. I did a rehousing a while back, and she webbed up her enclosure pretty well. I know it's a little bit tricky to see her right now, but at least you can see her through the webbing a little bit. And can you see the blue? I think I can see the blue. I am colorblind, but I think I can see the blue here. If you can see the blue, let me know if you can see the blue. And Andrew, just got my chocolate zebras 4 days ago, and they're still hiding almost all day. Is that normal? Yeah, absolutely. When you start a new colony, especially if you have a smaller number. If you start a colony with like 50 or 60, I would expect to see more. But if you just did like a 10 count, 12 count, then yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. That's pretty normal. So Meredith, arachnophobia, but I've had everything from mantis, roaches, pods, beetles. It happens. It happens. And it can be treated. Can be treated if you end up keeping spiders. Sometimes people cure themselves by getting spiders. So it can happen. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take off the top and see what we can see. Sometimes that spooks her because they are kind of a skittish species, but we're going to try and see if we can see from a different angle, huh? Look at the nice webbing though. Pretty nice webbing. Oh, Theropod Hunter joined in too in the memberships. Fantastic. Oh, Tarantula Collective. Are you going to Peru with Spider Shop? Yeah, you can't really see. You can see there's a spider there, and you maybe see the legs from here, but I think the blue showed up better, and the spider in general showed up better before. Yeah, it's... Anyway, I'm loving how this enclosure looks with all the webbing. Probably should change the water while I'm here. Dump it out and get some more water in there. Let's see. It's just so fun. I'm so glad I got a tarantula. I've been waiting for so long, and finally my wife let me have one. I'm so glad. So glad. If I could, I'd have more. Someday, when I get my facility, I'm going to have more. Today is not that day, but it's coming. They really do the coolest webbing. And thank you, Richard. You really helped inspire me. You and Alex were the ones who inspired me to get this species. I'm going to see if I can get over there and we'll take a look at her. She's really not nearly as skittish as she used to be. She doesn't just run at the slightest vibration anymore like she used to, which I think is cool. There we go. We got a pretty good look at her there, considering all the webbing in the way. But the webbing's beautiful by itself, so we'll go with it, right? So thank you, Richard. That makes me happy. And, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Ramelli, we got a super chat. We got a cousin to your tea, a Brazilian purple dwarf beauty, Dolichothele minearum. Minearum? I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but tiny one, though. But if they're anything like Diamantinensis, they'll grow fast. Are they? Are they like that? Do they grow fast? Because this one grew pretty fast. I mean, in a year, it was, pretty big. So, oh, I am so looking forward to coming and visiting you, Richard. As soon as I can do that, I am super excited about it. So I just need to get the funds together to get out there. But I'd be so stoked. That's interesting. Tarantula Collective was just saying my full-grown lady has turned super chill after she made it. So is that common with tarantulas, where after they mate they change? I've heard they like change their attitude towards life many times when they molt, but is that common after mating? Very interesting. Oh, she's going to move for us. She might actually be hungry. Gotta see if I can look at her abdomen, and probably doesn't really need a whole lot of food right now, but she's looking pretty big still. It's been a couple weeks, maybe longer actually. I should check my records. I've heard about the pink webbing too, Theropod Hunter, but I haven't heard much about it. I just heard that that's a thing. Let's see. The last time that she ate for sure was January 13th, but I did put a cricket in there a couple of weeks ago and it disappeared quickly, so I'm assuming she ate it. Huh, interesting, Richard. Cool information, though. Now, oh, so yours will go out onto your hand now after mating. That's really cool. Other species of parrot have gotten reclusive and lived defensive, but I don't think she's gravid. Interesting. That's cool to know. Let's see. I wanted to show you guys one more thing. Do we have time? What time is it? 6:21. We got about 10 minutes-ish. Okay. Let me see if I can make this work. I'm going to try. Did that fall over again? Darn it. That's not great. Let's see if I can make it work. It's going to be tricky. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Okay. It's going to be slightly messy, but I think it'll be worth it. I hope you think it's worth it. I think it is. Okay. I'm just taking, I have one of those mesh enclosures, the pop-up mesh enclosures with these guys in it. And I need my paintbrush so I can wrangle this little guy. This is the feeding tray. I have a jelly, a beetle jelly with or a fruit jelly, I should say, with fruit flies in there for these guys. Can you see it? There we go. So she is looking healthy, size-wise and everything. Good. And that, like I said, I didn't see any palpal bulbs to indicate it could be a male. It doesn't look like a male to you, does it, Richard? And agreed, Freelance, the webbing's super cool. So I missed the bit about the bug burger issues. Someone was talking about bug burger, but I missed some of it. So this is an assassin bug. This is a milkweed assassin bug. It's Zealous longipes. Milkweed assassin bug. These are really cool in that they don't get super big. They're not medically significant. They can bite humans. It's possible for them to bite humans, but it's not like if a horrid king assassin bit you or anything. That would ruin your afternoon. But these don't. They're not nearly as serious. They're not super huge, but they've got some really nice colors, and they do fly a little bit, like that one just did. No harm done. I have it here still. Just got to get it back in the container. It didn't go very far, but now it's kind of sitting on the tripod, so I have to get it off the tripod. And to get it off my hand, preferably, because they do have the capability of biting. Messing with that molt now. I now have 3 adults. I got a bunch of babies from roach crossing, and now 3 of them have molted out as adults. They have sticky feet, which is interesting, and the sticky feet help them capture their prey. So they often wander around with hidey-eye fruit flies on their feet, which is fun. I'm going to put it away now because it's starting to get pretty active, and my paintbrush is not enough to keep it in one place. So I'm going to put it back into the. It's got a pop tent, which I can't really fit into the shot, which is why I don't have the whole thing in the shot. Part of the reason, because you can't see it. But I do need to clean it too. It's got a lot of fruit flies. They go through a lot of fruit flies really fast, so it's got some dead fruit flies at the bottom. I need to clean it up. I have 2 of them, so I can just dump them in one and then back to the other. Okay. So there we go. So yeah, the milkweed assassins can apparently live entirely on fruit flies, and so I have them. I just keep a bug jelly in there, and I keep fruit flies on the bug jelly, and they seem to be doing perfectly well that way. That's what I learned from Kyle, and that's kind of part of the reason I decided to get them, because they do so well like that. So, thank you for enjoying my Dolichocele diamantinensis with me by the name of Grover, and my assassin bugs. Let's see how my Armadillidium klugi Dubrovnik are doing in here. I've got them in a small bin, trying to kind of boost numbers, and they are doing pretty well. One thing I love about these is that they have a lot of red, and the red will go right across the body in many cases. Unlike, not all of them will do that. Like that one who just ran away doesn't really have those, but a lot of them have that. The red all the way across the body, which I love. And some will even just be all the way red. I don't have any individuals like that, but I hope to work on some selective breeding and get them that way. I just got the joke, Richard. I actually, one of my best friends from college had a similar joke. So it stuck out to me right away. So Andrew, thank you for teaching me pretty much everything I know about how to take care of my isopods. Watch your whole isopod care videos. Good. That's awesome. So Kevin, right now I don't have any centipedes. I had one that I got in my original trip to Sky Island Adventures. I had one for a while there, but it unfortunately passed not that long ago. So I need a new one. I need a new one for my bug presentations. The season for bug presentations is coming up. I just did one not long ago, but it's really getting to the season where you do more of them. And I think I need a centipede for that. So yeah, I really like this this species, especially Montenegro, but I really like the red on these. Like Paul Moadi, but with isopods, not sandworms. I'd rather they be isopods than sandworms. I haven't seen the latest installment in the Dune. I saw the first movie, and of course I've seen the original movie, and I've read the book. But I need to see the second one, I guess. Tie-Dye Exotics has tons of centipedes. What do they got? And Marimba, glad to hear that's helped with the springtails. And fantastic, Tarantula Collective. That's great to hear. I remember I sent you some Armadillidium klugi Montenegro, didn't I? So not this locality, but this species. Trying to remember what else I sent. I do remember I sent you those, pretty sure. The Montenegro. Here are the Montenegro. This will probably be the last species we look at, but make sure don't have any hitchhikers because I don't want to mix strains. These I feel like have the brightest colors. They don't have the red along the segments, just on the skirt, but I feel like they have the brightest colors. There's probably some little babies on this side, I'm guessing. Oh, I just saw some little babies. There's a bunch of little babies right here. You probably can't tell the scale, but all of those are pretty small. They're like a quarter of an inch or smaller. Yeah, the yellow dots ones especially are awesome. Because some of them only have the white and some of them have the yellow. The Montenegro tend to have yellow more often, like there's one with yellow right down the middle, than any of the others. I haven't seen yellow dots on any of the other localities. I haven't had Slano. I don't have that locality, but as far as the three localities, or I don't know, how many localities do I have? 2 localities, I guess, plus I have the all orange ones with the spots, which I love, and they have the yellow on them too, because I think they're descended from Montenegro. Well, it is about that time. I'm looking at the clock, and I probably should go, but it's been great. Thank you everyone for joining in. I see Meredith joined in too as a member, so we've got lots of members here. I love it. 45 likes, 41 people in the stream. Can't do a whole lot better than that ratio wise. So it's been great to have you all. Thank you all for the super chats, for the memberships, and have a great one. And be sure to check out my video on Friday. Take care, everybody.